Hi everyone, it's Alex Stevenson from Ninja Teacher here, and I wanted to give you an update on the coronavirus situation in Vietnam, as well as talk a little bit about the education innovation that is going on right now. So, as of a few weeks ago, there hadn't been any new cases in Vietnam for about 2 weeks, which was great because there had only been about 16 total. Now, unfortunately, there was this one woman who came back to Vietnam and brought the coronavirus back with her. A lot of people are very unhappy with her because a lot of people thought that she actually hid her travel history a little bit by using different passports. And there's actually talk of potential prosecution because you're supposed to declare your travel and any potential risks that are caused by traveling to infected areas, and she didn't do that. And there were a number of people that she came into contact with on the flight and when she arrived that she spread the virus onto. Luckily, the Vietnam officials and the government, as soon as they realized, they followed up with everyone who had been in contact with her, quarantined them, quarantined the areas that she'd been in. And the cases now have risen up to 39 in the country. And luckily, so far, the health of all of them has been said to be good by the government. There are no deaths or anything like that. So yes, Vietnam's currently sitting on 39 cases now, which is still a lot better than a lot of places in the world. And it's really crazy how Asia was seen as this place that the virus came from, and it was all lumped together. Obviously it came from China, but people were scared about Vietnam and other Asian countries. But now there's far more in Western European countries and the US. There's over 1,000 cases in multiple countries in the West. So it's kind of flipped around now. People in Vietnam are a little bit wary of Westerners and aren't, I don't think there's any bad discrimination going on. I've seen a few people talk about that. They've had a couple of experiences of restaurants or people not letting them into different locations. But, it's just fear and panic. I understand that. It's still nothing compared to what I heard when, I think it was in the UK, 2 guys beat up a Chinese guy. I don't think he was even Chinese, he was just Asian. And it definitely isn't like that here. So I think right now Vietnam is a very safe place to be. Of course, people are being cautious, and in terms of general health though, I think you can't go wrong with being in Vietnam right now. Unfortunately, there has been a lot of repercussions in the education industry as well as many of the other industries, service industries, hospitality. It's been hit hard. The whole country has been hit hard, and I imagine that's the case everywhere in the world right now. Countries like Italy on lockdown. I just saw a post today about Ireland on lockdown. Ireland. The big one, of course, that I'm interested in and most interested in is education and the teaching English market here. So what has just been announced today is that unfortunately schools have been closed for another 3 weeks. Until around the 5th of April, I believe is the new date. And we're really upset about this because, it just keeps getting pushed back. And we have a whole lot of graduates from our TESOL teacher training course who need to get jobs, and the schools aren't open. So that's really a problem. It's also affecting people's potential desire to actually come out to Vietnam if there aren't as many prospects. And a lot of these English centers, even the huge ones, the small ones as well, are either going out of business or really struggling hard. They're having to shut down some of their branches. Students aren't allowed to go into these private institutions, let alone the government schools. So also the government school programs, they are struggling too because they're sending teachers into the government schools, but the government schools are closed. So English centers and public school companies are both being affected. It does suck that all of our teachers who were set up with stable jobs and doing really well here are now finding them in different degrees of trouble, I guess you could say, due to this. Some people are getting paid less but still getting paid. Some people are not getting paid. Some people are switching to online learning through the school that they work for. Now, I think this is the most interesting area that we can focus on and see as a positive in Vietnam right now. There has been and probably will continue to be a large preference for students to go into classrooms to learn English. And that's from the parents. I'm not 100% sure why online teaching hasn't picked up to the same degree as it has in countries like China just yet. But this is basically forcing companies and parents and students to go in that direction. So all of these companies that already have teachers hired, they already have the students that are supposed to be getting their lessons but can't run the lessons because they're not allowed to open and run the classes, have to switch to online lessons. And a lot of the parents are really unhappy about this because they paid for online lessons and overall that's not something that they want. However, it's the most effective and really the only way to keep them learning. And government schools are doing it too. So they're learning through online platforms. They're learning through programs like Zoom or any other conferencing software. And it's a huge change. And teachers aren't used to it, students aren't used to it, and also students are having to do a lot of the classes during the day through the public school, and then if they have to do the classes in the evening, that's a lot of work for them. However, the upside of this is if all these centers get these online platforms set up and running well and convince the parents that their children should still be showing up for classes, that they're still paying money for these classes, then there will be jobs for the teachers. The English centers can stay in business. Teachers will be earning a salary. Students can still learn. And that's really where we want to be right now with this whole situation where children can't go into schools. So looking at the positive with that, well, if you can get a job with one of the companies that have already switched to online learning, or you're already working for one of those companies and you're getting your hours through online teaching, that's great. The upside is that Vietnam is very cheap to live in. So if you're just teaching, say, 10 hours a week at $15 to $20 per hour, then you can cover your costs. So it is something that if there are enough job opportunities, all the teachers can get by until this blows over. The problem is that schools haven't been implementing this well. So with regard to moving online, well, I've got some ideas and potential projects in the work that actually might be able to help out schools with this, but that's more of a side project. So that's just what needs to be done right now, is moving online. And this is forcing a lot of innovation in the edutech field, which is something I was really interested in anyway, and now this has become a necessity. But our main priority is to train English teachers and then make sure that they can get jobs. So right now, we've actually been working on this for some time now. It's lucky that we thought ahead with regards to this. We have recorded all of our classroom training TESOL courses here at Ninja Teacher Academy, the 4-week in-person teacher training course. And we're moving that online to an online TEFL course. So that way you can get the training online. And then one thing we are planning to do once schools are running again is also open like a crash course practical training. We originally had this program called the 2-week fast track, which was designed for people that had already taken an online TEFL certificate, and then they come and do 2 weeks of classroom training, and then we help them find a job. So we might even bring back that. So if you want to come teach in Vietnam, you can take the online TEFL course to learn the theory, watch the online courses, get the certificates, all the recorded trainings with graded quizzes and resources. And then once you've taken that, then you can move over to Vietnam, potentially at a later date. Although right now, if you want to be teaching online, there isn't anything stopping you from coming to Vietnam and just living here and teaching online, because there are established Chinese companies. I think a lot of the Vietnamese companies will soon be hiring teachers for online. And I think there's a lot of opportunities about to pop up in that space. So that's why an online TEFL that we'll be offering is a great way to start. And you can basically sign up for that, complete it all online, and then get an online teaching job. Or in the future, once schools are open, you can take the online course and then come through us and do a practical training course where you get experience with Vietnamese students and get experience in the classroom before we help you find a job. So anyway, it's a tough time for everyone everywhere, I assume. Throughout the world, this is affecting a lot of people, a lot of economic damage is happening, and a lot of people are struggling. I am impressed though that Vietnam is trying to innovate and is being forced to innovate, but is stepping up to that. And that's what we're doing here at Ninja Teacher. And I think if you're someone who's planning to be an online teacher, an English teacher, online might be the way to go. Take an online certification, teach online for some time, and then go back into the classroom once schools are open. Or if you're already a teacher in Vietnam and you aren't earning, then moving online is also a good way to go. And a lot of your jobs, you may even have a job where your school is now switching to online so that you can keep working there. Or you can move to a different online teaching company, or you can get hired by another English center that has set up an online program. One thing I will mention, and this is going to probably change on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, is that Vietnam now has been restricting the borders and people coming in from European countries as well as the UK. Those places are on a ban list. There is some way that you can possibly do it, like if you have been employed already, then you can get a business letter from your school. It has to be a real business visa on arrival letter. It can't be one of those agency sponsored ones. And then you go to the Vietnamese embassy in your home country or another country. Basically take it there as a second step, and then you can come into the country as a UK citizen or a European Union citizen. But that is changing all the time. I have heard of some people that got through into the country despite all this, but at the moment they're not issuing tourist visas to a lot of European countries, the UK, and a few other countries, which you can just look it up. So that's it for now. I'll keep you updated in future videos, so stay tuned for those, and I will speak to you then. Peace.